Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Burt with FAI. I'm the managing director of the for-profit side of FAI and the president of Independent Market Solutions here in Tallahassee. Thank you all for jumping on this afternoon to meet our newest preferred provider in the AI space, Liberate. Um, the relationship that we have with Liberate is a new one, but the folks that are behind the scene with Liberate are friends of mine, not only professionally but personally. So we had an opportunity to sit down and speak with these folks and realize that we had some good synergy. So we're excited about the partnership. I'm going to introduce everybody to Brian Parker, who's going to tell you a little bit about what he does, and then we'll get into the presentation on what Liberate can do for our folks, our member agents. I will tell you that we're going to be working with Liberate here in the FAI office. We're tightening a few things up right now, but we're excited about, we try to do that with a lot of our preferred providers. We try to utilize those programs here in the office. So this is one that we are absolutely going to utilize. So with that, Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the program.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. Once again, my name is Brian Parker. I'm relatively new to Liberate, but I'm not new to this space. I've been doing this a little over 30 years now, so I have a pretty good understanding of what's working and what's not. So, goal here today is just to introduce you to Liberate, and so I'm going to share a slide deck, and we're going to talk through a few different specific use cases that I think you would find very valuable if you were to deploy a solution like this in your agency. So I'm going to share a quick screen here with you, and we'll get started. Oh, you need to approve my request there.
Yes, sir. I'm looking here. Let me see. Host tools. I don't want to share mine. I want to share yours. Let's see. Host tools. Um, Let me see here, Brian. I gotta figure out. Wow.
How to make me the presenter.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I thought it was um under the host tools here, but I'm not seeing it. Um, Bear with me just a second here. Yes, got it. Here we go.
Okay, got it. All right. Thank you for that.
Sorry for the delay.
No, you're good. I appreciate that. Okay. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So, welcome to this demonstration of Liberate, folks. Once again, the goal here today is just to introduce you to some AI automation tools. And we're going to talk about some specific use cases, not only for inbound calls, but also outbound calls. And we really specialize in voice AI first and foremost. So what that means is that the days of having an IVR system where someone calls in, they're greeted by a recording and asked to press 1 for sales and 2 for support, those days are gone. Instead, they are replaced by an AI agent that's extremely friendly, that just simply asks, "How can I help you today?" And she can answer thousands of calls simultaneously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, allowing you to meet your customers wherever they are. And so, as part of this first slide, I'm going to share some of the use cases of what we do on the inbound, and then we'll get into some outbound use cases as well. So, for the purposes of this conversation, I'm going to be referencing Nicole. Now, Nicole is the name that we give to our AI agent, but you can simply call her whatever you like. But Nicole can do a lot of different things right out of the box. So the first thing that she can do is she can handle thousands of calls simultaneously, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So the days of having a very hurried Monday morning, trying to staff for that mad rush, those days are over. She can essentially handle calls over the weekends, evenings, before your office opens up, and really get things teed up for you. And so some of the things that she can do right out of the box is she can handle your inbound quoting. So if we have a rating system that we can tie into, she can get it all the way to rate quote one, meaning that she can provide an actual price and ask the prospect if they're interested in kind of moving forward. Okay. So where we draw a line in the sand is anything that requires a licensed agent to perform, that's where we would transfer the call back over to a licensed member of your staff. Okay. But she would collect all the pertinent details, provide a price quote if that's what you would like her to do, and then she would transfer that call over to a licensed agent to kind of complete that process. She can also do the same thing on the service side as well. So any type of policy changes, whether it be add or remove vehicles, add lien holders, maybe the evidence, COIs, things of that nature. She can perform all the intake for that and then transfer that over to a live CSR to be able to get that past the goal line. Things that she does not require human intervention is routing of payments in claims. So she can essentially tightly integrate with your agency management systems, perform a policy lookup. If someone is looking to process a payment or file a claim, she can route that call directly to the carrier and then input those notes right into your agency management system. So she can handle that for you. And of course, she does basic triage as well. So if someone calls and they want to speak to someone specifically in the office, or they want help with policy service or sales, she will route them to the perfect person and be able to manage that for you. So these are some of the things that we could do out of the box on the inbound. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what we could do on the outbound as well. So one of the things that she can do is do a lot of the commercial prospecting. So there's some TCPA requirements on the personal line side that we need to be concerned about. So we can do personal lines as well as long as they have opted into that marketing effort, and we're able to place those outbound calls. But there's less stipulations on the commercial prospecting side, so we really want to highlight that. So any type of B2B calls, we can handle that for you right out of the box. We can also help tee up some cross-sell campaigns. So maybe they have auto, don't have home, maybe they have the general liability, but don't have the work comp. We can help round out your book by reaching out to those folks, see if they'd be interested in getting a price quote on another line of business. She can collect all that detail and then transfer it to a live agent using Active Whisper. She can also set up payment reminders for people that are slow pays or non-pays to kind of prevent policy cancellation, things of that nature. You could essentially upload a list. She'll go out there, reach out to those folks, and remind them to make a payment. And she can handle that via SMS, text messaging, as well as by phone. And of course, she can handle any type of meetings that you'd like to schedule with your team. So if you're doing semi-annual or annual policy reviews, you're just you need to set up a sales consultation. She can manage all that for you right out of the box. We tightly integrate with all of your agency management systems as well as rating systems. We're also relatively system agnostic, meaning that we can tie into just about any type of application that you need us to tie into. So there's two different ways that we can connect. One is through an API, which is the most robust way to sort of connect these systems. That's where we have our development team, review some documentation on how to map specific fields in that other application, and create a really tight integration. But we can also do what's called RPA, or robotic process automation. So if we're given a username and password to an application, we can function just like a human agent, except we do it at lightning speed. So whatever systems you need us to tie into, there's a very good chance that we can find a connection in order to make that happen. We also offer multilingual support. So I know you guys are in a border state. You probably get some folks, especially in South Florida, where Spanish is probably the primary language spoken, maybe some Portuguese. We can handle that for you. So what's interesting about Nicole is the days of pressing 1 for English and 2 for Spanish, 3 for Portuguese, those days are over. If someone asks her if she can speak another language, she will say absolutely. If someone just starts speaking in that other language, she will answer back in their native tongue. So if someone starts in Spanish, she will answer in Spanish. Someone starts in Portuguese, she will answer back in Portuguese, so on and so forth. And so we can manage that for you on a case by case basis and provide some multilingual support for your agency. I'm going to play a quick call just to kind of give you guys an idea of how Nicole operates in a live call, and I'm going to stress some things that are kind of happening in the background at the end of this sample here.
Hello, thank you for calling Herald Insurance. This is Nicole. I see a policy associated with this number. Am I speaking with Mary Taylor? Hi, yes, you are. Amazing. Pleasure to speak with you again, Mary. What can I help you with today?
I'm looking to get my new car insured.
Certainly, congratulations on your purchase. What's the make and model of your new car?
It is a 2024 Lexus GX 550.
Great car. Fun fact, the Lexus 550 is our founder's favorite car. Let me get your quote started. Can you confirm that 2012 Oxford Avenue in Austin is still your address and where the new Lexus will be garaged?
That is correct.
Perfect. That makes this process a breeze. Do you have the VIN handy?
Hang on one second.
Of course, take your time.
I've got it now. It is 1VXBR12EXCP901213.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Now that we have all the details, I'll proceed with your quote.
Wonderful. So I just want to kind of highlight some things that were happening in the background that may not have been obvious. So the first thing that we did is, as that caller was calling in, we recognized the caller ID and we did a policy lookup in the background, and we knew that we were supposed to be speaking with Mary Taylor. So we just wanted to confirm that that was in fact who we were speaking with. The next thing that happened, if you notice, is that we knew what the garaging address was supposed to be. So as she was adding that policy change with that brand new vehicle, we wanted to make sure that the garaging address is still accurate. If it wasn't accurate, she would have proceeded with collecting the latest garaging address of that vehicle. She would have triaged that. The final thing that you've noticed, which I think is the most fascinating, is that customer only had to say the VIN number one time. Now, if that was a human agent, especially me, I would probably have to ask that 2 or 3 times just to make sure I got all those digits correctly. In the case with Nicole, she did a VIN validation, so she was able to see that the VIN number associated with the year, make, and model was the correct one that was trying to be added to the policy. So those are things that we can do automatically in the background, whereas a human agent would probably take several minutes to kind of perform. We can do it in under 2 minutes.
Hello, thanks.
All right. I do want to take a moment and kind of talk a little bit about a very specific use case with a large insurance agency out in California, AIS. They're auto insurance specialists. They primarily do personal lines, auto, and home. They're actually owned by Mercury Insurance Group, and they have some very interesting stats. One of the things that was kind of interesting about them is that, they've been in business for about 40 years. They have a very large book of business. And again, they primarily specialize in auto policies. And so they know that most people purchase cars on the weekend. No one does it on a Thursday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so they wanted to be able to be wherever their customers are. Over the years, they've always had a skeleton crew over the weekend to kind of handle some of that intake, quoting, and writing of new business so people can get their, drive these cars off the lot. But over the years, it became very difficult for them to be able to staff around that, to find staff that's willing to work weekends. And so they made the business decision to just be closed. So when they reached out to Liberate and they heard about us, they had a very specific use case in mind where they said, listen, we want to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've always been open in the past, but we had to close the office on the weekend. How can you help us? And so we said, absolutely, we can. So we took a look at their systems. They actually had an API into Xywave Turborator, where they had an online comparative rater right on their website. So what it is that we did there is we had Nicole answer the calls, collect all the pertinent details, and then Nicole would simply say, I don't have a live agent to transfer you. However, I can text you a link where you can self-fulfill right online. And so if the customer wanted to move forward, she would text the link. The online comparative rater popped up on their phone. From there, the consumer can pick and choose their coverages, slip in a credit card number, and Yahtzee. They're able to bind the policy anytime, day or night. And so last week alone, they closed over 416 policies this way. They are so excited about it that they recently made the business decision to not just have Nicole answer calls on evenings and weekends, but to answer every single call. And the driving force behind that were some of these stats that I kind of want to share with you today. So one of the first things that they noticed is that there was a 4x improvement in call abandonment rate. Anytime you have human agents, you're likely going to get a queue where people are going to have to wait on hold for a specified period of time. Because we use AI, there are no hold times because Nicole can answer calls 24 hours a day, and she can answer thousands of calls simultaneously. So it has completely eliminated hold times. So they saw a 4x improvement in call abandonment rate. The other thing they noticed, which was kind of interesting, is that they saw a 12% increase in auto conversion. So they realized that people were having a much better experience using an AI agent than they were with their own human agents. And so they felt strongly that there was a good case for continuing to use AI all the time. The other thing they saw is a 300K staff cost savings in under 6 months. Now, this slide should probably be updated because I think we're closer to a year now. But just a dramatic slash in headcount. They don't need to staff for these people on the weekends and call centers anymore. They can have AI sort of manage that for them. And they also have a 77.8% call resolution rate, meaning that Nicole handled soup to nuts 77.8% of all the inbound calls. And that's kind of nirvana for us. What it is that we found is that in the first 30 days, you're looking at about a 42% call resolution rate, just because people are kind of getting used to AI. They might be asking for specific people on your team. And so Nicole would obviously transfer them. But by month 3, we're looking at about an 80% call resolution rate. And that's sort of nirvana for us. And the reason for that is because our AI agents aren't really designed to replace human agents. We want to supplement what they're already doing. So if someone asks for Sally in your office or Mark in your office, we can basically program Nicole to just automatically transfer those calls directly to those folks. Conversely, we can also program her to kind of probe a little bit more, where she could say, yeah, looks like Mark's on the other line. Is there something I can help you with? And they say, yeah, I'd like to be able to add a car to my policy. And she says, well, I can help you with that. And so she'll just kind of run through the motions of kind of making that happen. And then she can live transfer that call back over to Mark, where he can kind of run that through the carrier and make it all happen. So these are some of the most interesting facts that happen with this large agency. Let's talk about some other use cases where Liberate can potentially be helpful. So the one is I kind of want to mention is we get a lot of folks that say, well, how does she transfer the call? What are some of the things that she sort of collects, and how interactive is she? And the answer is she's very interactive. So I'm going to play a quick sample so that you can kind of understand to what extent Nicole can be utilized in your office.
This is John. How can I assist you today?
Kevin Frolix wants to add a vehicle to his policy. Can I connect you?
Do you have his policy number?
Yes, Kevin Frolix's policy number is ABC123. Is there anything else you need before I connect you?
No, feel free to connect, please.
Thanks. I will connect you now.
So as she collects all this data, your management system or your rating system, depending on what it is that she was, what type of data she was actually collecting, would basically pop up on your agent screen. And so all the data that she collected would automatically be populated there, and then they'd be able to help them through the final few steps. Let's also talk about a servicing example where we're doing multimodal payments, meaning it starts in voice, maybe it goes to text, and goes back to a transfer. So I'm going to play a quick sample so you can kind of hear that.
Hi, this is Nicole. Thanks for calling Herald Insurance. Please note, this call is being recorded for quality purposes. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I need to make a payment, but I also need to know how much I owe.
Welcome back. Thanks for being a Herald Insurance customer. Let me look up your information to assist you further. Hi, can you confirm this is Jason St. Pierre?
Yeah, it is.
Great. I see that your carrier is Kemper and the amount due is $450. Would you like me to send you a text with a link to Kemper for making the payment?
Sure.
I've just sent you a text message with a link to Kemper so you can make your payment. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Could you also just transfer me to them directly?
Okay, so basically what happened there is, again, she knew exactly who was calling. She wanted to confirm that it was Jason St. Pierre. She did a policy lookup silently in the background, got his payment details, was able to text him the link to Kemper, and because he requested to be transferred over to Kemper, she was able to transfer him directly over to Kemper to make his payment as well. So it doesn't have to be this linear path. She's able to bounce back and forth and be able to answer and support those customers in real time as those things happen. Here's another use case where we're doing some data pre-fill. So if you guys subscribe to services like LexisNexis or some other service where they're pre-filling some of the data based on a property address to kind of help facilitate the actual quoting process, we can tie into that as well. So here's a quick sample of that.
When did you purchase your home?
Maybe 4 years ago.
Thank you. Give me a second while I gather some information about your home from public records. One moment, please. We have obtained some basic information about your home from public records. Could you please verify the accuracy of this information? I show your home was built in 2021. Is this correct?
Yep.
Is the square footage 2,524 square feet?
Yes,
Is your home a two-story?
it is.
One moment while I check for any additional questions. One moment, please.
Okay, so that's an example of how we can help facilitate the quoting process by tightly integrating with some data pre-fill providers. We're also multimodal. So things that we can do is we can handle things like lead generation, pre-qualification, and routing. So if there's some specific underwriting questions you want Nicole to ask before being placed or given a price with a specific carrier, we can basically make that happen. We can also do payment reminders on outbound calls. We kind of talked about that already. We can do some lead follow-ups and kind of warm them back up, see if they're interested in purchasing that policy you already quoted. And we can also tightly integrate with SMS and things like WhatsApp, other third-party applications in order to facilitate some more new business quoting. But let me play a quick sample of how we're doing some of these payment reminders, and it might provide a little more clarity here.
Hey, Jason. This is Nicole from Herald Insurance calling. It looks like you may have gotten busy and haven't had a chance to make your car insurance payment yet. Would you like me to help with that now?
Yeah. How much do I owe?
You currently owe $754 for your 1991 Plymouth Acclaim on policy number 3434TRK. Would you like to be transferred to Progressive to make the payment now?
No, I'll just go online and do it. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
Great. We could have also texted them a link as well as part of that conversation as well if we wanted to. All right, so let's talk a little bit about analytics and quality control. One of the things that we're currently building out, we're going to be releasing this in the very near future, is we're going to be doing what's called call scoring. And so basically what it is it's more than just voice AI. We're actually listening to specific phrases and keywords that helps us understand the smoothness of that particular call. So if somebody's using words like, oh, I like that price. Oh, yes, I would like to be transferred to an agent. Or how do I purchase? That sort of indicates the call is going very, very well. Conversely, if someone says, I'm really confused, or I don't like that price, or I need to speak to a manager, we know that that call is going very, very wrong. So unlike your human agents that may not necessarily flag you when things are going sideways, Nicole absolutely will. So we can do things like set up notifications to a management team to be able to sort of either be, have that call transferred live to them, or if that caller hung up, they'd be notified so they can reach out to them immediately. So speed is going to be key here in order to making sure that you provide a amazing quality experience each and every single time. Let's talk a little bit about what's under the hood. So our system is enterprise grade and enterprise rated. There's a lot of folks that are very concerned about, well, what happens to the data? Who owns the data? Are you harboring the data in any way? The answer is no. It is your data. We connect to your systems. We do not take any of the data. You own it 100%. We are SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA compliant, PCI compliant, so on and so forth. And so you don't really have to worry about security with us. We tightly integrate and make sure that all of our modules are 100% secure. And that sort of concludes my presentation on Nicole. And I'd like to open it up and see if there are any specific questions that I can help answer for you guys.
Brian, does the AI introduce herself as, I'm sorry if I missed this, as an AI customer service rep?
It doesn't have to, but we actually recommend that you do introduce her as an AI rep. Mainly because people might be a little confused about what's actually happening. There may be some moments in time where there might be a half second of actual delay. And so we want to make sure that people understand that they're talking to an AI agent. And frankly, we find that people actually enjoy speaking to an AI agent. And it's a nice message that you can send to your customers saying, listen, we know that you can't always reach us when you call. And so we have invested in some technology that's going to enable you to perform a myriad of different sales and service options 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can list out some of those things that, Nicole can actually help you with. And so it's a great way to sort of differentiate yourself in the marketplace, provide 24-hour service, and using a voice AI agent that's always happy to take your calls, always in a good mood. So absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Brian, I guess you did such a stellar job that there are no questions. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Right. Probably the number one question most people ask is about the pricing, and I just kind of want to mention that we have some very favorable discount pricing for FAIA members, and to reach out to me specifically if they'd like to learn more about pricing, we can build something out that makes a lot of sense. I can tell you that pricing depends on a lot of factors. It's based around call volume, number of systems we need to integrate with, so on and so forth. So that's why I can't provide just sort of this blanket pricing today. But if you reach out to me, I'm happy to kind of go over pricing with you specifically for your agency so you know exactly what you're dealing with.
Past Chairman Rod Michaels, any questions from you, my friend, or anything you think that our fellow agents might have an interest in knowing?
Well, I know this is very exciting. I think that AI is just absolutely taking over everything we do, and being able to harness it and utilize it in our benefit is absolutely going to empower all the agents that use it. And some of the conversations I've had is, AI will never replace the agent, but it's going to replace the agent that's not using it. So I think that everybody needs to, really embrace this and see how they can start working it, whether it's in a minimal application and building on that. But I want to thank Brian. Thank you very much for your demonstration. It was amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on today. And if we need to do a follow-up webinar in the future, just feel free to reach out. We'd love to get more of your members plugged in.
Thanks, Brian. And for those of you that were on, if you need a copy of today's recorded presentation, please reach out to me at dburt, that's BURT, at FAIA.com. I'll be happy to forward that to you. All right. Thank you all for joining. Brian, thank you very much for taking the time out to present. And we look forward to working with y'all.
Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good
good
day.
Thank you.
day.
Take care. Bye-bye.